Hello, welcome to a new story. It's a real life story. The story of Emily and Jack. So, Emily and Jack met, fell in love, got married, and moved with their love to a new city. Emily found refuge in Jack's embrace, and Jack found solace in Emily's heart. It was a dream come true until there are three untils, three scenarios that maybe you can relate with one of them, or maybe you know somebody who can relate to one of them. So let's start with the first scenario. Until Jack's parents came to visit. Jack's mother cozied up to Emily. Now, one thing you need to learn about Emily is that Emily has lost her parents at a very early age. She was 19 when she lost her parents. Her memory of her parents was two people in love, two people in harmony. They danced together, they sang together, they cooked together, they cleaned together, they read for Emily together, they played with her together. And unfortunately, in one brutal car accident, they died together. At the age of 19, Emily was so crushed, and she went on with her life, cherishing the memory of her parents, looking forward to meeting her own Prince Charming. When Emily met Jack, she was 48 years old. Her thirst had grown so much for a family and a loving partner with whom she would recreate the image of her parents. When Jack's mother cozied up to Emily, Emily thought that she was gifted a new mother. Jack's mother was not a new mother. She just noticed how Emily filled Jack's heart, and she wanted a piece in his heart. Come on, I'm his mom, I raised him. Don't I deserve a little bit of his heart too? Emily shared some intimate things with her mother in law. She shared some fears and concerns, looking for advice. Her mother in law used all that to sneakingly stick a thin but sturdy log in Emily and Jack's relationship, cracking it open. And she jumped right inside the crack, showering her son with "no one will love you like your mom" brainwashing kind of love. It's too bad, is it? And you think it only happens in movies or very old time stories? No, actually, it still happens today and in all cultures, which is very sad and very strange. Scenario number two. Emily and Jack were very happy until Jack's dad came to visit. Now, Jack's dad was strong. He never granted Jack his approval, though. He had always seen Jack as this incompetent son. He would always show Jack that he had come really close to earning his approval. Then he always leaps one step forward at the last minute, leaving Jack constantly feeling that he had fallen short. Can you relate to something like this? Emily didn't know that when she married Jack, because Jack, in the absence of his father, is a totally different person. But after his father came to visit and stayed with them for a while, she could see how Jack was constantly trying to win his father's approval. Maybe for once he can hear the words, "I'm proud of you, son." Jack didn't know that he will never ever hear such words from his father, no matter what he did. And it's not because he constantly falls short of his father's expectations of him, but because his father will never get impressed by him. His father only gets impressed by celebrities, the famous, those who dominate the news headlines, whether they are good people or not. But those are the only people who impress his dad. What Jack did not know was that his grandfather never even said, "I'm proud of you" to his son either. So it's their way and philosophy of raising boys. Again, unfortunately. Emily saw Jack as one chained dog, always wagging his tail to please his never to be pleased master. By the time Jack's father has finished his visit and left, Jack was this hurt child with low self-esteem, bleeding of emotional neglect. Failing to see the effect of his dad on him and the real nature of his father, how do you think this affected the relationship between Emily and Jack? He cannot see it. He just gets hypnotized by it. So after the dad left, Jack was no more Jack that Emily has married. She cannot see him the same way. And again, when the dad leaves or left, Jack was so hurt that he needed a lot of healing. But then, once the father visits again, it starts all over because he cannot see it. Jack cannot see it. He cannot see the effect of his dad on him, which is too bad and too sad. And again, unfortunately, real life. Or scenario number 3, until Emily's best friend came to visit. Ruby has been best friends with Emily since they were 15. Ruby got in and out of relationships, and Emily was always there for her. Ruby was always there for Emily too when Emily needed her, except when she was at the peak of her romantic relationships. Coming to visit and seeing how Emily and Jack act and behave like two lovebirds, Ruby couldn't help but feel left out, especially that she was at the time without a partner. Now Ruby wanted her friend's attention and affection once more. What's the harm in that? She brought out memories of the two of them before Jack came into Emily's life. She kept displaying pictures from the old days. Of course, at that, these types of conversations excluded Jack altogether. She talked about people Jack didn't know anything about. She watched movies and TV shows that she used to watch with Emily. She woke up early before everyone and she drifted off late after everyone, so she's always there. She implanted herself in every conversation, and with the slight appearance of any argument between Emily and Jack, she'd automatically jump in yelling, taking Emily's side and supporting her viewpoint, implying that poor Emily was under constant attack by Jack and his words. But she was just too innocent to notice. Ruby faked sickness to have Emily stay by her side. She made Emily all the stuff she knew that she liked, like her hot cup of tea in the morning, the flowers in the vase, emptying the dishwasher for her, lighting up the candles for her at dinner time. By the time Ruby's visit was over, Emily looked at Jack through different lens. He's become estranged to her. He's not so loving and caring and attentive like she thought he is. Something there broke beyond recovery. Now, in all 3 scenarios, the relationship has been affected tremendously negatively. And for the relationship to mend and heal, Jack needs to admit that his mother's intentions and actions are not really the purest. On the contrary, they are quite selfish and not trustworthy. But can he do that? Come on, it's his mom. She raised him. He can't. Or, in scenario number 2, Jack needs to admit that his father's presence and nature has a toxic effect on him. And he needs to choose to completely and forever break the poison potion by letting the image of the ideal father go and accept that his father is not that kind of a father and distance himself from him. But can he do that? Emily, in scenario number 3, needs to admit that her friend Ruby cannot stand the fact that she's been replaced. She cannot understand that there is a difference between friendship and life partnership and marriage. Emily needs to admit that Ruby manipulated her emotions to keep her to herself. But again, can Emily do that? See, the problem is, those are people that have been in the life of Emily and Jack for a very long time. They are operating on a different level. They are not even operating consciously with them anymore. It's just that, and they represent, except for Jack's father, some sort of a source of love to them. It's not healthy love, but they cannot admit that. Neither Jack nor Emily can admit that the effect of Ruby or Jack's mother or Jack's father are quite toxic. And if they do, they may feel tremendous guilt. Guilt? Yeah, my mother raised me. She gave me life. She always cared for me. My father is a sad old man. He's all alone. I can't cut him off now. Besides, his dad was exactly like this, so he doesn't know any better. Ruby has always been there for me when I had no one. I know she feels insecure now. I need to be there for her. If you ask Emily and Jack separately, Emily, do you still love Jack? Of course I do. Jack, do you still love Emily? Of course I do. Would you do anything to mend the relationship? Of course we do. Would you consider leaving Jack, Emily? Yes. The moment his mother or his father comes back, I will actually consider leaving him. Would you consider leaving Emily, Jack? Yes. The moment Ruby comes back, I can actually consider leaving Emily. What? Why? How? Well, unfortunately, in the presence of Jack's mother or father, Emily feels unsafe, completely unsafe. And in the presence of Ruby, Jack feels unsafe. And the one thing that can completely demolish and destroy any relationship is feelings of unsafety. See, people can tolerate illness, sickness, lack of money, any sort of issues or problems, but when it comes to safety, it's what really breaks the relationship beyond any recovery. Because we are wired for safety. Safety comes as number one for us. So even if we don't consciously understand this, on a subconscious level, we will keep moving away from the person whose presence cause us to feel unsafe and insecure. It's very, very bad. It's the truth though. And again, this is not just one story. This happens every day in so many places in the world. And the action is not really in the hands of Jack's mom, dad, or Emily's friend. The action is in Jack and Emily's hands. They need to understand the intentions and motives of those people who supposedly love them, and they do love them, but they want them for themselves. It's a kind of selfish love. And after a while, it will just suffocate them. Currently, it is just suffocating the love between Emily and Jack. But if Emily leaves Jack and Jack leaves Emily, and they continue with this toxic relationship with Jack's parents or Emily's friend, they will never be able to be in a real loving relationship and sustain it, as long as they hold on to those people in their lives. Very sad, but very true. Yet, it's not hopeless. Again, it is in Emily and Jack's hands. They just need to take the decision. I hope you enjoyed the story. Have a good day.